Hey, what's happening, TPS viewers? It's Luca Rosano, and I am super excited to bring you guys this video. And remember, let us know which what-if scenario you want to see next in the comment section below, and if we use your video idea, you could get a shout-out. Anyways, Bo Jackson, you guys know the name, right? He is arguably the greatest American athlete of all time. Jackson is the only athlete to be named an All-Star in both the NFL and MLB, and is part of a handful of athletes to earn the honor of being an All-Star in 2 major sports. He even qualified for nationals in track and field. In college, Jackson is deservingly in the conversation of greatest American athletes of all time, along with the usual suspects Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Phelps, Carl Lewis, Michael Jordan, Jim Thorpe, Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens, and Jim Brown. Not a bad list at all, if you ask me. A powerful bruiser with speed, Jackson on the gridiron was a lot like Jim Brown in the fact that the defenders had trouble not only catching up to the Auburn Heisman winner, but bringing him to the ground was difficult too. Though he never rushed for 1,000 yards in a season, as his career high for games in a season were 11, Jackson averaged an outstanding 5.4 yards per carry. While this total wouldn't qualify him for the league record, it is higher than the likes of Jim Brown, Walter Payton, and Barry Sanders. Among running backs, qualified or unqualified, only Jamal Charles and Marion Motley, Google them kids, I know I had to, have higher marks than Jackson in yards per carry over the course of their career. On the baseball diamond, Jackson was arguably just as good. Primarily with the Kansas City Royals, Jackson was pretty much a superhero in the majors. An All-Star Game MVP, Jackson was fast on the base paths, had the strength to smash mammoth home runs, and the ability to run on walls. Simply put, Jackson was baseball's Superman.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Super Bowl!
Bo was a hero not only to football and baseball fans, but sports fans everywhere. Now here's a guy who was dominating at the highest levels of baseball and football after having just dominated on the college football circuit as a standout running back for Auburn. Off the field, Jackson was a cultural phenomenon. He became a household name with his Bo Knows advertising campaign with Nike and commercials with legendary musician Bo Diddley. Google this one, folks. I promise you won't regret it. With guest appearances on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Married with Children, a personal favorite of mine, and a memorable shout-out on a Tribe Called Quest scenario.
Ayo, Bo knows this, what? And Bo knows that, what? But Bo don't know jack, cause Bo can't rap. Well, what do you know? The D-Dog is first up to bat.
Bo knew crossover appeal. And of course, with his unstoppable Bo Jackson character in the video game Tecmo Bowl.
We all know how much Cleveland loves Tecmo Bowl, so let's start playing on the Raiders. I'm Bo Jackson, and hopefully he'll show up.
That's no fair. Bo Jackson's too fast.
Jackson would lead the way for legendary video game athletes like Michael Vick in Madden 2004, John Dowd in MVP Baseball 2005, Mike Tyson Mr. Dream in Punch-Out, and of course, Pablo Sanchez in the Backyard Sports Series. Of course, you guys know that one. Bo set a precedent of future athlete crazes like Jeremy Lin's Linsanity and Tebow Mania. Unfortunately, like the 2 previously named, short-lived sensations. Jackson's run in the spotlight didn't last for a very long time. However, unlike Lynn and Tebow, it wasn't performance but injury which curtained the Bo show. While with the Raiders at another dazzling breakaway run during the '91 playoffs against the Cincinnati Bengals, Bo Jackson suffered a damaging hip injury on a tackle which forced his football retirement. A few months later, the Kansas City Royals even cut the superstar. After 2 more seasons with the White Sox and California Angels, where his athleticism wasn't where it used to be, Jackson retired from professional sports. Still, he even won the '93 AL Comeback Player of the Year award. That's how good Bo was, folks. Because of the injury, even though it seemed like Bo had been around for a while, he lasted just 4 years in the NFL and had 4 prime years in baseball. Due to this, fans always wonder what could have happened if Bo remained healthy. Would he have eventually stuck to one sport or kept trying both? That's why here at TPS, we are now asking the question, what if Bo Jackson never got hurt while running down the sidelines during 1991? Let's see what happens. In the immediate moments following the division round win against the Bengals, the Raiders with a healthy Bo Jackson move on to the conference championship against the Buffalo Bills. Since Bo isn't on defense and Jim Kelly's K-Gun offense jumps out to an early first half lead against the Raiders, Los Angeles is still forced to play catch-up with their world-beating passer Dre Schrader. Though the Bills won the conference title game 51-3 in the real-world timeline, with Bo on the field, the Raiders are slightly better and only lose 41-10. Yeah? Following his football injury in the real-world timeline, Bo was cut by the Royals and limited to just 28 games after joining the White Sox. With a healthy Bo, though, Kansas City retains one of its best and most popular players. Instead of finishing 6th in the AL West, second from last place, the Royals finished second in the division behind the Minnesota Twins. Unfortunately, this is still the autumn of 1991. While the Cold War is almost over and we got Beauty and the Beast and Silence of the Lambs, two excellent movies which couldn't be more different.
Tale as old as time.
Apparently, Lewis had murdered a transient and done things with the skin.
MLB's playoff format is still in the Jurassic period, when only the league's 2 division winners made the playoffs. So Kansas City misses out on the postseason, but Bo has a solid season of 31 homers, a .273 average, and 93 RBIs. For the 91-92 NFL season, with legendary running back and mentor Marcus Allen completely in Al Davis's doghouse, Jackson is featured as the top back on the depth chart. And because of a healthy Jackson, the Raiders don't sign All-Pro halfback Roger Craig, who remains with the 49ers and retires with San Francisco. And the world feels just a bit better. Though he had been splitting time in the backfield with different backs before, Jackson thrives in his first season as the standalone feature back. As the primary focus of the Raiders offense, Jackson rushes for over 1,300 yards, scores 8 touchdowns, and averages an impressive 4.6 yards per carry. Instead of losing in a close one to the Chiefs on Wild Card Weekend, the Raiders finish first in the tough AFC West and host John Elway and the Broncos in the divisional round. Los Angeles wins, but again falls to the Buffalo Bills in the conference championship. In the 92 offseason, the NFL offseason, Bo goes on to have his best year in the majors as well. Momentum carries from football to baseball, and Bo hits 38 homers, bats .287, and cashes in 102 RBIs, all while making the All-Star game for the second straight year. Kansas City, unfortunately, as a team, doesn't match up to Jackson's performance and misses the postseason. In the 1993-1994 season, Jackson again has an excellent year on the gridiron and on the diamond. With the Raiders, Jackson rushes for well over 1,000 yards and is named league MVP. And Los Angeles, in the frigid winter cold of Buffalo, stuns the 2-time AFC champion Bills in the divisional round after having suffered season-ending losses to Buffalo in back-to-back years. After getting ahead 17-6 early on, just as they had done in the real-world timeline, Los Angeles is able to ice the game by repeatedly going back to Bo. In the next round, the Raiders defeat the Kansas City Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl to face the Jimmy Johnson-led Cowboys. Unfortunately, because these are the early 90s Cowboys, arguably the greatest team ever assembled, the Raiders lose Super Bowl 27, 30-17. Bo has an impressive game in his only Super Bowl appearance, scoring a touchdown and reaching the 100-yard mark in the title game. In the lead-up to this game, it is Jackson and not any of the legendary Hall of Fame Cowboy triplets who is the talk of the town, fans, and media members. In the offseason, coming off the high of a Super Bowl appearance, Bo continues to have another strong year with the Royals. However, while he reaches his usual numbers of 30 home runs and 102 RBIs, Jackson's average dips, perhaps due to having his football season end later than it has in previous years. In November of 1994, Bo will be 31 years old, and Jackson understands his prime is possibly over, and he only has a few years left to play professional sports at a high level. Jackson has another 1,000-yard season, his 3rd straight, and after the Raiders lose on the opening weekend of the postseason to Dan Marino's Dolphins, without the season-long fanfare of retiring superstars, Jackson leaves the NFL to prioritize baseball for the rest of his career. In a stunning move in the football world, Jackson leaves like Jim Brown while still at the peak of his powers. With multiple Pro Bowls and a league MVP, and most importantly a Super Bowl appearance, Jackson feels like he has done enough in the NFL. With all his focus on baseball, Jackson opens up the 94 MLB season on fire. By the All-Star break, Jackson has 23 homers and 72 RBIs. And because Bo doesn't get injured, Kansas City never releases Jackson, meaning he never plays for the White Sox or Angels in this what-if timeline. However, in a move which stunned the sports world, MLB Players Union strikes, ending the rest of the season in August, and parts of the 95 season. By the end of the season, Jackson has 31 home runs and was easily on pace to break the 40 homer mark for the first time in his career. With baseball players on the picket line, Jackson gives one more season to the NFL. The Raiders happily welcome back their star halfback, and Jackson returns from his short retirement without missing a beat. In the 94-95 season, Jackson helps the Raiders make it back to the postseason, rushing for 1,000 yards. However, just like his first go-around ended with Los Angeles, this season also ends in the playoffs to Marino's Dolphins. When the strike ends, Jackson returns to the diamond, playing 2 more seasons in the majors with the Royals, averaging 28 home runs and making an all-star appearance. At the age of 34 and with endorsements and off-the-field opportunities galore, and having already done the best he could in both sports, Jackson sees no need to keep getting his body pounded, retiring at a young age. Because he left both sports still at a high level, the myth of Bo is elevated even higher than it is in the real-world timeline, which is already pretty darn high. With over 5,000 rushing yards and just over 200 home runs, Bo is widely regarded as the best athlete in American history. And though contemporary back Barry Sanders is amazing in his own right, I'm not taking anything away from him. It is Jackson, not Sanders, who's given the cover of Madden 25 in homage to his Tecmo Bowl legacy, which is emphasized even further since Bo's healthy career allowed more fans to see the legendary athlete in his prime. Oh, Bo, what could have been? What do you guys think of this video? Did you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you? Talk to us, people, in the comment section below. And for those of you who are new to TPS, hit that subscribe button. It'd be the greatest thing you've ever done in your life because we bring great videos like this all the time, so I can't emphasize that enough. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm gonna get back to watching old highlights of Bo because man, was that guy amazing. We'll see you guys next time.
3rd and 1 from the 2. Here's Bo, and here goes Bo for the touchdown. He and Bosworth one-on-one, and Jackson just shoves him into the end zone.